original sport is being formed. You know what I mean? Like where they're molding the basis of it. They're coming up with literally brand new rules.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Where now they're finally getting to the stage where these guys are getting paid enough and can be actual full-time athletes. Where like look at football and the NFL in the beginning stages. Those guys had to work jobs
they're working 2 jobs at a time.
And then playing football.
Yeah, football wasn't a full-time. Now they're multi-million-dollar athletes.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like,
Times change.
And the game has evolved so much where they're learning.
Bigger, stronger, faster, and smarter.
Exactly. So I don't think the best
has yet to come.
The best is yet to come. He may be the best raw talent to walk through the door, but he's not the GOAT yet.
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah, I think you got to give it another 20 years, 30 years. But maybe by the end of our lifetime, we can call him if you want to take like more of like a wait and see approach.
Yeah, I respect that.
Because we've only UFC's only been around 24 years, 25 years. You know,
it sounds like that GOAT conversation pops up almost every UFC fight. Like it's crazy. Like
well, because
it changes so frequently that maybe people should just calm down.
It's a ticket selling thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got to think about it. They run off of pay-per-view.
Right.
And ticket sales. You know, it's the same thing
sense.
with every other sport. Why do you think all week long ESPN's putting on the same conversation?
Same promos.
You know what I mean? They're trying to sell the same people, which I don't blame them. You know what I mean? We're like, everybody's trying to do similar things. And I don't blame them because I want to hear about it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we're not there yet for that. I don't think we're there in this sport because you're finally developing full-time athletes. And, like, you finally got the UFC to have UFC centers around the United States.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Where now they're dispersing information where, like, you had, like, before you only had the Gracies to have jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean, in Brazil. And if you really wanted to get hardcore jiu-jitsu, you had to go travel all this way.
Now it's more access.
You know what I mean? There's a lot more access, free information. And then same thing with like Muay Thai. You got to go to Thailand to get the real, authentic Muay Thai. You got to go to Japan to get real, authentic judo. You know what I mean? Boxing, you got to come to the United States, go to a gym. You know what I mean? Like that was our thing. And then wrestling, same thing. You know what I mean? Like you needed to travel these places, but there's no free information of it. Where football, you got a set of rules. You just wing it and come up with some plays. You know what I mean? Hockey, this has been around for a while. They had sets of this. You know what I mean? Basketball, the same kind of thing. They're tweaking what they previously had. So now they're finally, like, the UFC's kind of coming with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're finally tweaking to create the perfect athlete. You know what I mean? Yeah. For each weight division, but I don't think it's there yet. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah. All right, man. And then lastly, let's talk about you. You're an MMA fighter. You got a fight coming up, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk your shit. Promote yourself.
All right. So I'm fighting at the Seneca Niagara Casino for the King of the Cage. I'm fighting this kid, Jared DeMond, out of Niagara Falls, Welland, Ontario. He seems like a pretty tough kid. Real in shape. Comes from a good gym. I think it's Parabellum MMA. I train out of Buffalo United Martial Arts downtown. It's at Riverworks.
Yeah.
I love it. I got crew Keith Ferrant, great crew. And then I got Professor Josh Ketry. He's one of my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors, and then Professor Larry Backless, and then one of our assistant coaches, Joe Hacken. Actually, shout out to him. He just had a fight, won with a knee to the liver, knockout 40 seconds.
Yo, real quick, them liver shots is no joke.
No.
Man, that shit, you get hit in your liver, that shut your whole body down.
Yeah. Your natural reaction, and no matter who you are, no how bad you are, your natural reaction is to lay down on your side and cover up.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
right. You can't stop it. I don't care who you are.
I used to box when I was younger, like not really seriously, but just training with some dude down at the rec center down the street from us.
Yeah.
And I was training with the coach, sparring with the coach, and popped me in my liver. Like I quit. I'm not fighting you no more. Like, what you like? I didn't know what happened. Like, what you just do to me?
Yeah, you quit real quick.
Get the fuck out of here.
I got caught. I'm not gonna lie. I got caught with one today by my crew Keith, and oh man, he dropped me real quick. I was just like, on the button, and then I curled up, and I was like, oh man, all right, I better get up, or I'm gonna look like an idiot.
All right, so it's fighting at the Seneca.
Yeah.
When's the fight?
It's February 23rd. I'll be fighting there. At doors open at 5. Fight start at 6.
23rd is a Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. If anybody wants to come down, Seneca Niagara is going to be holding the weigh-ins live on Facebook, and then also through King of the Cage, and then also Friday night, I believe at 6 o'clock, they're going to be holding open weigh-ins. So if you guys want to come down,
yeah, man, I'm off Friday. I'm gonna definitely come check that out.
Yeah, coming down. There's going to be some really good fighters. Like I said, I'm pretty low. I'm on the prelim card, but there is going to be some big fights. Pat Mix. If any of you guys have heard of him, he's a local fighter. He's probably going to be, this is his, I believe, his last fight for King of the Cage, and his next step is going to be either UFC or Bellator. He's signed with Ali, same manager as Khabib.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Like this kid,
he's legit.
Yeah, this kid's no joke. Okay. And then Billy Corantillo, he's a dude fighting out of American Top Team. That's where Rashad trains. So there's a couple big fights that are coming down on the 23rd. Like, these guys are on the verge of going to UFC Bellator level, which you know what I mean. Like, this is a good stage for me to get on. I can't wait.
Nice.
Hopefully I'll be 3-0 by the end of the night. You know, pray to God, but. You know, and win or lose, I'm going to be partying. So, if anybody want to see me after.
Already I
gotta ask you this question. How the fuck did you come up with the Spicy Meatball nickname? Because that joint is low-key lit.
Oh, man. So, I'm imagine this. I'm 8th grade wrestling, varsity wrestling. I live on Grand Island, right? So, I'm a short, fat kid named Anthony Gugino, right? I show up to wrestling tournaments, right?
Yeah.
After we make wins, right? Everybody, team's doing everything. My mom makes me meatball subs.
Okay.
There you go.
And I got a little bit of an attitude problem, right?
Hey.
Right? Because I'm a hungry fat kid. You want some food after I had to watch my weight to make weight, right? And my coach, Henry Carney, a big bearded dude that. Probably like, what was he, 6'2", probably 250, 260 pounds. Me is a 125-pound kid.
Right.
He's like, oh, you look like a little meatball. He's like, hey, you got to, like, he'd get me out there, get me, what's called, ready for wrestling and stuff like that in the corner. And then he noticed I had a little bit of an attitude problem. So he was like, oh, we're going to call you the Spicy Meatball.
And it just stuck.
Yeah, and it stuck. I was in 8th grade, and I had seniors that year calling me the Spicy Meatball, and I'm like, oh man, when I was a little kid, I'm like, man, I'm never gonna lose this. They're just gonna think I'm a short, fat kid that nobody likes that eats meatball sandwiches. I'm like, hey, and when this first started happening, I wasn't too good. I'm probably a 500 wrestler. And I was so mad at my mom. I'm like, Mom, don't send me with meatballs anymore. They're making fun of me. But
that's what's up.
Then sure enough, she sent me with 2 meatball sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down.
Yeah, some of the seniors were like, yo, you got any extras? And then I made friends finally. But he got that to stick my beginning of my 8th grade year, and then it stuck all the way through my senior year of wrestling. And then I was like, I was talking to my coach and my cousin before my first fight and stuff like that. And they were like, what's going to be your name? Like, you know what I mean? Like the Killer or something, you know what I mean? The Fist of God, something like that. Something kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's got to have a name, right? I'm like, the Spicy Meatball. It's been with me since 8th grade. I ain't ever losing that, and ain't nobody ever stealing that from me.
I like how you embrace that. That's your shit, man. Well, hey, man, listen. I hope you win your fight on the 23rd.
Thank you.
3-0. Yeah. I'm gonna try to come check that one out, man. I'm gonna try to get that day off of work. And that should be good. Or going early or something. But yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Hell yeah. Ed's sitting in the VIP section.
Hey. That's what's up. All right. So I want to go ahead and transition into another combat sport, a little bit of boxing. Hassan, when me and you get together, we typically go straight to boxing. You typically go straight to talking about boxing.
Yeah, there's either a fight on like that night or we just talking about what's coming up.
Yeah, I'm always going to your house to watch the fights, and it's always lit.
Yeah.
I wanted to get you a couple of takes on a couple of recent fights that we had. Some great fights. Well. The most recent one was the Broner-Pacquiao fight.
Yeah. And,
I posted on Facebook, and me and Ed talked about this, and he still owes me a $6 meal for that. But,
That's true.
We still wait for that. Did you watch that fight?
I got to watch it after the fact. The cool thing about YouTube, even though they'll shut it down eventually, is that you'll end up seeing the fight.
Right.
Like the 24, 48 hours at least afterwards. So, yeah, I got to kind of sit, watch it, let it marinate, and I agree with the final. I agree with the judges.
I do too.
Yeah, I've never really been a huge Broner fan, but the interesting thing about boxing to me, it grew on me. I mean, I remember watching. Just on a side note, I remember watching boxing when Mike Tyson was up and coming. And my grandfather and my uncles would catch those fights either on pay-per-view or a long time ago. USA used to have, I forget what night of the week it was, but they used to have fights. And I would watch those. But obviously everybody was talking about Tyson, watch Tyson, call Holyfield when he was up and coming, and a couple of other heavyweights. And I was being educated about the ones in the legends now, Hall of Famers, legends now in the lower weight classes like Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, Roberto Duran is another name that comes to mind, and even a whole bunch of other, all the way up the ranks from you got your lightweights, flyweights, bantamweights, and all the way up. But so the cool thing about watching boxing, to me, what's always been interesting is no matter how much I dislike a particular fighter, like on the outside or whatever, outside the ring or whatever, I can watch it without bias. And being able to do that, I can then at the end be like, no, that judge was, what the fuck was that judge watching? In cases like that, i.e., the first Triple G Canelo fight.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that one.
It was like, why was that a draw? But anyway,
that was some bullshit.
I never was a fan of Adrian Broner. If you're listening, I'm just talking about boxing. All right, I can't fight. Don't bring it to my doorstep, please.
No, come to my doorstep, please. Yo, Broner, you listen to this for some reason, knock me the fuck out.
I'm going through a tough time right now personally. That's a whole other story. But I mean, I'm not looking to get knocked the fuck out.
Damn.
Broner can fight. He's got his skills here and there, but I thought Pacquiao was a better fighter. Even at his age, I thought Pacquiao was the better fighter.
Pacquiao, he whooped his ass in my opinion.
Yeah,
it wasn't even
Pacquiao
close.
Put in more work.
I think
Broner got the receiving end of that work. Yeah, and Broner lost that fight.
What'd you say, Ed?
I think he needs to change weight classes. Something.
Yeah, that might help.
Broner needs to get his shit together.
Yeah, that too.
Because I knew it was real like this. Broner, like Floyd Mayweather used to fuck with Adrian Broner heavy.
Yeah.
Like that was his man. Like this is the next upcoming big thing, man.
Yeah.
He talks shit. He goes out. He backs it up.
Yep.
And I seen it.
Yep.
And I was on board. And then Floyd stopped fucking with him. I'm like, damn, that's a red flag right there. When the best boxer in this generation stops fucking with you, and the reason why is because you're a fucking clown.
I'm gonna quote you like what you said earlier about Floyd being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
if you're that kind of person, like, or if you're considered that kind of person, and you have the foresight to look at somebody else and be like, "Yeah, I ain't messing with you,"
right?
That says something.
That's immediate red flag.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Adrian Broner's just one of those dudes. Like he don't take his training serious.
No.
And it shows in his fights. Like when he lost to Medina.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you saw that fight,
he wasn't supposed to lose to Medina.
No, not at all.
Got his ass whooped.
That was a statement.
Got his ass whooped. Like, that's when I was pretty much like, okay, this dude.
That was the one when he fell through the ropes.
I think so. I haven't seen. I want to say I have that fight. Like,
that's
in
one that
my
Floyd
collection.